of all of the load that you're running. This is our analytics engine. What it's doing is it's deduplicating all of the logs, deduplicating all of the queries. You can actually see the way the SQL queries execute without the variables. So you're seeing the raw structure, and you can then go ahead and say, here's the query I want to tweak. You can add that to cache.
Then that implies after you identify, someone needs to tweak it, which means changing code.
Not changing code, adding that to cache from here without changing a single line of code. So you can say, this is the query I want to optimize, add that to cache, and say I want to cache this for 1 minute, 30 seconds, whatever, and it'll instantly get cached at the IDB layer. No need to change the application. Memcached-like performance without actually implementing Memcached. It's a key value store within IDB. So what it does is it composes dynamic keys based on the queries that are coming through and attaches the value as the actual TCP data that came from the SQL server. And then you can push that out at wireline speeds because it's already TCP data. There's not even a need to go ahead and send that query to the server, have it interpreted, have it do a range scan through a table. None of that. You can serve it right from here. So especially for the kind of queries that are repeat queries that are highly cacheable. You could look at e-commerce websites. You look at content websites. You look at so many of the other gaming engines where quite a lot of the data that's being read from the database again and again is common across many users. All of that stuff you can go ahead and cache here.
Are there any high market share databases that you won't be able to work with due to some issues around how they implement?
So I'll tell you what we already work with. We work with the MySQL protocol, which basically means we work with all of the MySQL compatible databases as well. You can use us with Drizzle, with Percona DB. You could use us with MemSQL if you wanted any database that suits your purpose. On the other side, we also work with Microsoft SQL Server, which is actually a proprietary protocol, but we still have the ability to do that. And we're already in works for Oracle, so we'll have an Oracle version as well soon. So you could go ahead and use exactly the same functionality on Oracle as well.
And in terms of inserting into the customer, are you anticipating insertion into existing applications that are having some performance issues or higher than average maintenance issues? And if so, can you be inserted where you're just sort of in monitor only mode versus, don't do anything, don't touch anything, don't cache anything, et cetera, so they can get used to you sitting there?
That's how everybody begins. So what you do is go ahead and configure IDB, just add one server to it, and then put one of your app servers or your staging servers to go via IDB. So when it does that, you basically get to see all of your analytics. By default, no rules are turned on. So you get to figure out what your traffic looks like and then take decisions based on that. And one of the things that users have continuously found very valuable is the fact that we're showing you exactly what's going on at all points in time. And one of the things that you'll see here is compare patterns with previous hours. So this is primarily a change management system. If you had a problem 11 o'clock in the morning today in your SQL infrastructure, you want to be able to compare today's traffic to yesterday's traffic and say, here's what's different. And this will tell you that because it's deduplicating all of that data and reducing the amount of data that you need to look at.
And do you generate your own log data?
Completely our own log data. We have no agents at either the client end or the server end.
Okay, and what database do you use to store that data in?
Internally, we are deduplicating that data and storing it in SQLite.
Okay, thank you.
So is there multiple, if there is a big enterprise with multiple applications, how do you deploy this? Is it one deployment across all, or?
So it is a multi-tenant appliance if you want to do it that. If you wanted to have one large system that can deal with multiples, you could do that. But it is also N+1 scalable. So you could go ahead and add as many of them as you wanted and scale capacity. So you could go ahead and say, I want to have 5 of these. Each one is capable of handling 1 million transactions per minute, and I want to have 5 million transactions processed through them. You can do that. Because it isn't by itself a state machine, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the data is still going to your databases. So
and how do you price that in that situation?
We price by traffic. So that's primarily the metric that we have. How much data do you want to push through this? How much data do you want to cache? And we price by that. So I'll actually get to that. Very reasonably priced. You have 70 cents an hour on Amazon EC2. You can get a subscription for the entire year and use it as much as you want. You can get a perpetual license and put it on your own physical hardware in your data center. You can get an appliance which we'll ship you, which is fully built, plug it in, into the rack, go. That's it.
So is your primary motive mostly like a product as a sale, or is it more of a managed services? Would you be doing?
No, it's fully a product sale. We actually don't get involved in managing and maintaining this at all after it's deployed. That's something the customers do. And because the UI is so easy, because our APIs are so easy, it's incredibly easy for them to figure out what's going on at any point in time. All of our logs are human readable logs. They're not complicated stuff. And at the end of the day, it's incredibly easy for you to figure out exactly what's going on at any point in time and then fix it. Visibility is the key tenet here.
So what's your future things about your company? Are you thinking Oracles of the world would acquire you?
We'll see. But the core thing that I'm talking about here is that the fact that we can sit in the middle of application servers and database servers now opens up a whole lot of possibilities. In the near future, we could very easily go ahead and say, here's the piece of data that's coming through in the SQL protocol that I actually don't want to store in SQL anymore. I want to store that in MongoDB. And we could do that within the protocol without letting the application know. So you could actually have the protocol being broken apart, data being broken apart, and interchanged between multiple systems. So you're still getting SQL queries, but you're doing it on NoSQL.
It seemed like when I was looking at the website, some of the databases are in beta now. What support is shipping today?
So MySQL has been GA for about 10 months now.
Okay.
Microsoft SQL Server is in very, very late stage beta. There's a whole lot of customers that are already using it in production. We're just about to stamp GA on that within the next 2 weeks, and that'll be out. And Oracle is being built, will be in alpha within the next 4 to 5 months.
And maybe a naive question, it's been a while since I looked at Quest software, but it seems like they were doing some of this. Are they a competitor?
I haven't seen a layer 7 SQL proxy yet from anybody else other than the one company that I'm aware of, which is NetScaler, Citrix.
Other questions, audience? Anyone?
So I'll ask one. I have seen a lot of SQL proxies come along and come and go. Why do you think this is the right time for this type of technology?
Well, I think the first thing is the scale out stuff is happening now. A lot of the SQL proxies that I've seen a long time ago, they were truly one-to-one SQL proxies. They weren't doing all sorts of other stuff like load balancing and caching and analytics and all of that. They were basically going ahead and sitting in the middle and doing either security interception for certain things or going ahead and doing some sort of log analysis for certain things. This is an all-in-one approach. We're trying to go ahead and make sure we provide a full stack of easy-to-use services, and each one of those ties into the other. If you look at our analytics, it's actionable analytics. It's actually helping you change things. It's not only telling you what's there.
Great.
So it links together. So.
Great, well done.